What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the Belle Collective Season 2, Episode 2. So let's finish off with Latisha and Glenn. So in the last episode, it ended where Glenn went over to Latisha's place of business because he wants his wife to come back home. He wants his wife back. Right now, they're currently separated because Glenn is out there philandering, running amok in them streets. Supposedly he has a love child out there. And so Latisha moved out, her and her son moved out, and they're staying with her mother. So Glenn comes over to her office to try to win her back home. So Latisha says to him that she only wants to know if the baby is his or not. And then Glenn says, he says something that was so stupid. He says, well, she hasn't put me on child support, so that should tell you that I'm not the father, or that that's not my child because she hasn't put me on child support. Like, what? What? Excuse me? So you're saying, Glenn, that the only way that you could be the father of this child is if the mother puts you on child support? Well, maybe she doesn't want to put you on child support. Maybe because she knows that she's not going to get nothing out of you anyway. Or maybe there's another man that has stepped up and is raising this child. Or maybe she just doesn't want to put you on child support. Whether or not she puts you on child support is absolutely no indication of whether or not this child is yours. The only way to know is with a DNA test. So he claims that he has been asking this other person, the mother of this child, to get a DNA test. So we'll see if that ever happens. Now, I have a feeling that Latisha's decision on whether or not she goes back to Glenn is contingent on whether or not this child is his. I have a feeling that if the child is not his, she's going to go through that whole, she's going to give us the whole, I forgive him and I'm a Christian and we believe in forgiveness and da da da, but he better do right by me. And if the child is his, I think that that's probably when she's going to. But didn't she say that she was willing to raise this child if it ended up being his child? So something tells me that Latisha is probably going to go back to Glenn. I really hope not, because I think this marriage is dead. It's over. It's done. She says that she wants Glenn to change. I don't think Glenn has the capability of changing unless he's changing into a worse cheater. He doesn't have the ability to become a better husband. I just don't think so. I think Glenn is so set in his ways. It is in his DNA to cheat. I don't think he can help himself. I think that whenever he steps out of his home, his mind is trying to like pick up the next chick that comes by. Excuse me. So I think Glenn is the kind of guy where he wants to have a good wife. He doesn't want to lose Latisha because, you know, some men probably don't need to be married at all and they just need to be single. And I think Glenn is one of them. But I think he's convinced himself that he needs to have a wife. He has to have a wife because Glenn is used to being catered to. And Latisha has really, really spoiled him. So he wants to come home to a home cooked meal, to a clean house. He wants to come home to a wife that's going to cater to him, give him what he wants, give him what he needs. He wants that. He wants that lifestyle, but he also cannot give up the streets. He can't give up being a dog, being a cheater. He just can't give that up. So he wants her to come back, but I don't think he's willing to change at all. And Latisha is going to be one dumb woman if she decides to take this man back thinking that he's going to change, because on the day that he re-proposed to her in front of all of their friends last season, he was talking to the other woman. He was communicating with the other woman, texting with the other woman on the day that he's supposed to re-propose to his wife. A day where it's supposed to be about remembering how much you love your wife, thinking about the future that you have with your wife, all of that. He's too busy thinking about another woman. So this marriage is over. It's done. It's dead in the water. Latisha, please move on because you so deserve so much better. Even if better means just being, you know, alone, being single. So we'll see how that turns out. Glenn says in his confessional that he didn't just lose a wife. He lost a best friend and he lost a confidant. Okay, all of this flowery poetic language. Glenn misses with all of that, because if this is what she really was to you, you never would have cheated. Wasn't she still your best friend and your confidant before you cheated on her? She's always been that from day one. So why are you telling us this now? Like, what difference does it make now? Why are you just now realizing that? She's always been that to you. What does that have to do with the price of rice in China? Absolutely nothing. You did what you did. She was always your best friend. She was always your confidant. The only thing is you didn't give a damn. You didn't give a damn then, and you don't give a damn now. So miss us with that. And then he says something else very stupid. He says that he himself grew up without a father, and he doesn't want his son to grow up without a father. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Just because you're not with Latisha, you're not married to Latisha or living in the same home as her, then your son misses out on growing up with a dad? Like, what does that mean? You don't have to abandon your son just because things don't work out with his mother. So Glenn is one of those people that feeds into the ideology of if the man is not with the woman, then he's also not with the child, which is really sad and crazy and unacceptable. You don't have to abandon your son just because Latisha and you are not together. Moving on from that nonsense, Latrice. So Latrice, her business, Goddess Lengths, is doing extremely well. She is selling out. Business just couldn't be any better. Her husband comes over to her place of business to fix a leak in one of her sinks. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if the landlord is not landlording and you have to fix your own stuff, do your own maintenance, Latrice, are you also trying to get a discount on your rent? Because you shouldn't be paying full rent if you have to fix your own leaks and electrical problems and whatever else. Moving on from that. So then she asks her husband, what does he think about her going to Latisha's brunch? Latisha is planning a brunch. She does this every time, I guess, every year. She has this really big brunch where all the women come together and they're supposed to talk about business and making money and networking and uplifting one another. And the only problem is Marie, who was Latrice's arch nemesis this season, is going to be there as well because Marie and Latrice are really good friends. So she's asking her husband if she should still go, even though Marie's going to be there. And her husband is like, sure, you should still go because you're not the one causing the problem. So yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't go. Moving on from there, Tambra. She invites Latisha and Marie to lunch and she wants them to meet her friend Akeisha. So Latisha and Marie, they get there first. And they have a moment to have a conversation. Marie is really going through it. I don't know what star sign or sun sign or what zodiac sign Marie was born under, but Marie has really been handed like just the worst luck in life. She does well business wise, which is really, really good because she needs to, because she's taking care of a whole bunch of people. But she has issues with her son. She has issues with her husband. She has issues with her mother. She has issues with her friend group. It's like Marie cannot catch a break outside of her business. So she's telling Latisha, how she's coping with her grandson's mother being murdered, dealing with that. She's also, she's just really going through it. And then Latisha, she talks about her husband, Glenn. And Latisha admits to Marie that she has outgrown Glenn. And I'm thinking, if you've already made that conclusion that you have outgrown him, then shouldn't she be headed to the courthouse to file for divorce? But yet she says that she's still going to wait and see how things, work, how things plan out, which makes me think that she's waiting to see if that child is his before she makes the decision of whether or not she's going to come back to him. If Latisha thinks that Glenn is going to change, she's a fool. So then Tambra and Akeisha arrive. So Akeisha is from Jackson, Mississippi. She is the self-proclaimed real queen of Jackson, Mississippi. She's married to Willie Colon, who spent 10 seasons in the NFL. He's now retired. And her family is well known in Jackson. She actually owns land and buildings on Ferris Street, and that's the connection between Akeisha. And that's going to be something that I guess Akeisha and Latisha are going to be working on, is this whole Ferris Street thing, because Latisha still has not given up on developing Ferris Street. So Akeisha tells us that if she cannot bring back Ferris Street, then nobody can. So Akeisha tells Marie, because she asked Marie if she was from Jackson, and Marie says yes, I'm born and raised in Jackson. Akeisha asked her what high school she went to. Marie told her, and then Akeisha proceeds to say that her father and her grandfather were band directors at Marie's high school, and that the music hall was named after her family. So Marie says in her confessional that Latisha has to be very, very cautious of Akeisha. She goes, I don't know what the hell Akeisha and Latisha have going on, but Latisha needs to be very, very careful with her. And then Marie goes on to say that You can't trust people with light eyes. And I was like, what? Huh? You cannot trust people with light colored eyes. What the hell does that mean? Anyway, so Akeisha is one of those people. Number one, she talks a lot about herself, which is very annoying. And then she's a one-upman type of person. She always has to one-up you. So whatever you got going on, she's got the same thing going on, but better. So anything that anybody says about anything, Akeisha is going to somehow bring it back to herself because she's also experienced it. She also has it. She's also gone through it. For example, Marie talked about having lupus and how she has a charity event every single year. I think it's a charity walk for the Lupus Foundation where she raises money for lupus. Well, Akeisha, her mother-in-law or her grandmother or somebody in her family also has lupus. They also have a really big charity event as well. Tambra, she's in the radio industry. She is a radio DJ. Akeisha also has dabbled in radio as well. I think she said her husband has a radio show or something, and she helps him produce that radio show or something like that. And it's like everything that anybody is involved with, it's also Akeisha has also experienced it, and that's extremely annoying because everything always comes back to her. The conversation always comes back to her, and on top of all of that, she's a big talker. She just goes on and on and on and never shuts up. So Akeisha is going to be very interesting. Obviously, she's going to be very good for the show because people like this are great for reality TV. Moving on from there, Marie, she has lunch with her mother. So her mother has been battling addiction ever since Marie was a little girl. Marie tells us that her father practically raised her because, as a single parent, because her mom was strung out on drugs for the majority of her life. Now, her mom is trying to do better. She's trying to recover. And Marie has her mom living with her because she wants her mom away from that drug-filled environment. And unfortunately, her mother, the struggle is hard. The struggle is real because she keeps on going back. And recently she relapsed. And Marie tells us that her mother, since living with her, has relapsed several times. So the ironic thing about it, though, the irony of it all, is that Marie owns drug rehabilitation centers, right? So it's just really ironic that she owns establishments that help people with addiction, but she can't reach out to her mom. She cannot help her mom at all. Her mother admits that, yeah, I have a drug problem. Yes, I'm an addict. Yes, I've been relapsing. That's what's happening. That's what's been going on with my life. And it's just really, really sad. And you can just see the pain in Marie's eyes as she's talking to her mom. You know, she tells her mom how hurt she was as a child. You know, you're waiting for your mom to come home, or you're waiting for your mom to come and fix your hair, and your mom isn't there, and your dad has to step up. And it's just really heartbreaking. So I'm just like, wow, Marie, it's like everywhere Marie turns, there's some type of tragedy, some type of trauma. There's something going on. Moving on from there, let's get to the brunch. So at the brunch, okay, first of all, Marie, okay, so at the brunch, let me just start there. At the brunch, all the women show up. And one thing that I'm realizing, or that I'm not realizing, I've always known, but I want to make a comment about it, is that these women on the Belle Collective, all of them are beautiful women. Very beautiful. They are done from head to toe, and I love it. So Akeisha shows up, and as soon as she shows up, she's already complaining. So she's also one of those. She's a one-upper, she's a talker, and she's a complainer. So she starts complaining about the dishes, the plates and the bowls and stuff. She says that her plate was dirty, and she absolutely will not eat on a dirty plate. So she brings it to Latisha's attention, and Latisha has to go and get her a new plate. And it's funny how Akeisha said, I will not eat on a dirty plate, but she didn't even like the food either. She complained about the food. So she didn't even eat the food. So like, what difference did it make if the plate was dirty? I don't know. So when she shows up, Akeisha complains about like the event itself. She's like, I thought this was going to be like, you know, the who's who of Jackson, Mississippi, that there's going to be this big, big brunch with a whole bunch of people, you know, and it wasn't that. It was just this one long table with a handful of women, and that was it. Then she complained about the tablecloth because the tablecloth had glitter on it. So she complained about the tablecloth, and she's like, I can't even concentrate on the conversation because I'm so distracted by all this shiny glitter glitter on the tablecloth. And so she thought that the glitter on the tablecloth completely cheapened the whole experience. And I'm like, my God, Akeisha, wow, you cannot find one positive thing. Do the women look nice at least? Can you at least admit that everybody showed up on their A game? Everybody looked really nice. So Gucci is there as well. And so Keisha asked, so Gucci, so is that your government name, so Gucci? And so Gucci's like, no, my real name is Sophia. So now we know. So as Latrice enters the room, Marie's already there. Automatically, as soon as Latrice comes in, Marie is hyperventilating. She's gulping down water by the gallon. It's like she's having a physical reaction to Latrice. And her business partner, I forgot her name, her business partner is sitting next to her. And she's like, girl, are you okay? And she's just like guzzling water like there's just no tomorrow. Because she's like, when she sees Latrice, she just, it does something to her. So she says the whole entire vibe had changed, and that she didn't want to have to share space with someone that was trying to take down her business, because she really does believe that Latrice was the one that put that rumor out there that Marie was committing Medicaid fraud. So man, Akeisha also complained about the buffet style of the food. There were no waiters or servers to serve them their food. So she hated the fact that she had to get up and go get her own food. Akeisha was really struggling. So Latisha is, okay, so she's running around getting clean plates for Akeisha. Marie says that she could sense that the energy was way off in that brunch. Latisha then starts a game, and the game is you pull a name out and then everybody has to say something positive about that person. So the first name that is pulled out is the name of, who was it? Latrice's? I think it was Latrice's publicist. That was the first name that was drawn. I forgot her name. So they go around the room to say something positive about her. And then when they get to Marie, she says, I plead the fifth. She doesn't want to participate. In her confessional, she says, I don't play games. I'm a grown woman. I'm not in kindergarten. I don't play games. So she was already obviously in a sour mood. She doesn't want to participate. And it got to the point where she physically could not stay there any longer. And of course, to me, I'm thinking that she just wants to draw attention to herself. So she gets up and she leaves. Her friend, her little business partner follows her. So everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Blah, blah, blah. This was more fodder for Akeisha. She's like, I come to this event where we're supposed to be talking about business, and now somebody has a complete meltdown at the table. I don't even know what's going on. And, Akeisha is just really struggling. So, Latisha said, so Marie's gone. Latisha follows her to the bathroom. And Latisha says that Marie is making her look bad. And so Marie is trying to explain to Latisha that the reason why I walked away was because I didn't want to ruin your brunch. But girl, you did. You ruined it when you hyperventilated when Latrice walked into the room. You ruined it when you didn't want to participate in the dumb game. You ruined it when you got up and left. You already ruined her brunch. It's over. So she's in the bathroom and she's saying that she's going through a lot. She's dealing with Latrice. She's dealing with her mother. She's dealing with the death of her grandson's mother. And Marie says in her confessional that that she says that she didn't want to be she didn't want to be blamed for ruining the brunch, and that's why she got up and left. But like I said, she had already ruined it. So Latisha, she gets now confrontational with Marie, and she's basically like, you're acting like a baby. You need to suck it up and come back to this damn brunch. And Marie's like, no, I'm not coming back to this brunch. Are you crazy? It's done. I'm over it. And so Latisha will not let her go. And I'm like, Latisha, let that woman go. She's not comfortable being there for whatever reason. She's not comfortable. You're lucky that she made an appearance. Let that woman go home. She's going through a lot. Let her go home, Latisha, let Marie go home. So then Tambra and a few other women, because you can hear them yelling at each other in the bathroom. The women at the table can literally hear them. They're that loud. And so Tambra gets up with some other women and they go to the bathroom to check on her to make sure that everything is okay. But they were just nosy. So Tambra's like, are y'all good? Because y'all are really loud and we can hear y'all at the table. And Latisha's like, yeah, we're good. We're fine. Are you? Are you though? Because y'all are screaming at each other in the bathroom and you've completely abandoned your guests, Latisha. Marie's a grown woman. If she's made the decision to leave your brunch, it is her right to do so. You cannot hold somebody captive. For what? So you want her to stay so that she can continue to be miserable and possibly end up fighting with Latrice. So, so Marie says in her confessional that, she has a big issue, obviously, with Latrice. And she says that because of the stuff that Latrice allegedly had done, she ended up losing a lot of patients and a lot of clients. And so this really, affected her. These rumors out there really affected her. So Latrice then, Latisha asks Marie, are you willing to talk to Latrice if I bring her out here? I don't know if she asked her, she just went and got her. So she goes to Latrice and she's like, you know what? Come and talk to Marie. And Latrice is like, I'm not talking to her. And Latisha's like, just do it for me, please. Just do it for me. Come and talk to her. So that's where the episode ended. And once again, Marie, I'm beginning to question your decision making skills because you're thinking about taking Glenn back, which I hope that you don't, but you're thinking about it so far. Wrong move. You want Marie to stay at an event where she is physically and emotionally uncomfortable to be at. You want to do that to your friend. And then you want Latrice and Marie to have a conversation. In this heightened state that Marie is in, this heightened emotional state of mind that she's in, you think now it's a good idea for her and Latrice to have a conversation at your brunch, in the middle of your brunch. This makes sense to you, Latisha. I truly question your decision-making skills. So we'll see whether or not, I don't see how, even if they do decide to talk, why do they have to do this at your brunch? You had a brunch to conduct business. Now that's not even going to be accomplished. And it's going to give Akeisha more reason to talk about you. So, and Akeisha said that she will never come to any of these events ever again. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens next time. Thank you so much for joining me in this review. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Subscribe if you don't like it. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much for stopping by anyway, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.